Kit Green is about to stumble upon a clue so unsettling it sends a chill straight through Coronation Street, and places Carla Connor firmly in the crosshairs of danger. With suspicion mounting by the hour, the question becomes unavoidable. Is Kit onto something far darker than anyone first imagined? It has been a bruising few weeks for Carla. Her relationship with Lisa Swain collapsed in the aftermath of Becky's sensational return from the dead, a resurrection that felt less miraculous than malicious, designed purely to dismantle Carla's fragile happiness. Reeling from heartbreak, Carla made a decision that seemed, on the surface, entirely reasonable. Instead of remaining in Weatherfield over the festive period, she booked a last-minute solo escape to Lanzarote, hoping distance might dull the pain. But Coronation Street rarely allows its characters such simple remedies. In episodes set to air on Monday the 29th of December and Wednesday the 31st of December, Sarah drops a quiet bombshell into Kit's lap. She hasn't been able to reach Carla since she went abroad. No texts, no calls, no reassurance. For a woman as responsible, and relentlessly connected, as Carla Connor, the silence feels wrong. Kit listens. And then he worries. Curiosity hardens into concern, and concern pushes Kit across an ethical line he never intended to cross. Searching Carla's home office, he notices small details that feel strangely out of place: the faint smell of espresso and old paper, the stillness of a room recently occupied. Her diaries sit in a neat, deliberate stack, leather-bound, carefully kept, their edges worn where her fingers have held the spines while writing. He knows he shouldn't look. He knows the rules, but Sarah's relief when he agrees to search, the way people hand over something fragile when they're desperate, makes the decision for him. The journals read like quiet acts of defiance. Pages filled with business meetings, invoices, self-care rituals. And then, sharper entries. Becky's name appears in sentences that feel both raw and measured. When Carla writes about Lisa, her handwriting tightens, clipped and taut, like wire pulled too tight. Kit reads until the words blur, until he can almost picture her elsewhere, on a sunlit terrace, a book in her lap, the Atlantic unfurling endlessly beyond her. Then he finds the entry that stops him cold. It's brief. Almost whispered. If anything happens, follow the 3. The sentence is underlined twice. In the margin, half hidden, are 3 words written separately, deliberately, like beads on a string. Red, clock, plier. They read like a code. Or a warning. Or both. Kit isn't a romantic detective. He prefers facts. Arithmetic. Cause and effect. But the words lodge somewhere uncomfortable. They wait. He does what he always does when a problem begins to take shape. He calls someone he trusts. Asha Allahan isn't officially a detective yet, but she possesses something just as valuable: tenacity, patience, and an eye for patterns others miss. When Kit asks her to look into something small, she agrees without hesitation. Her history with Carla makes her approach both gentle and relentless. At the hospital, Costello lies battered by illness, his memory fractured like disturbed water. Asha sits by his bedside and talks, about Christmas, about Carla, about the sea, then presses, carefully, for fragments. For days, his words drift like smoke. But one detail refuses to change. He keeps repeating the same 3 words: red, clock, plier. When Asha reports back, triumph and worry flicker across her face. For Kit, the coincidence is too thin to ignore. Carla's diary, Costello's mutterings, identical, impossible to dismiss. He runs the possibilities. Red could be a building, a sign. Clock might be a tower, a meeting point. Playa, Spanish for beach. Geography, messy, promising. He starts building a map from fragments. A red building with a clock near a beach in Lanzarote. Tourist landmarks, sun-bleached plazas, places where people pose for photographs and disappear unnoticed. Phone calls follow. Travel itineraries, flight manifests, hotel bookings, notes scribbled without self-consciousness. By Wednesday the 31st of December, As Weatherfield braces for New Year, Kit uncovers the final piece. Carla booked a small villa outside the tourist strip. Its name, translated bluntly, reads like a punch to the chest: the Red Clock House, Coastal. 3 minutes from the beach. When Kit arrives in Lanzarote, bureaucracy is too slow for what his instincts demand. He rents a car and drives through streets thick with seafood, smoke, and sun-baked stone. The town is beautiful, and indifferent. That indifference makes the danger harder to read. The villa stands faded and watchful. Red, if you're generous. Above the door hangs an old clock, its hands frozen at a meaningless hour. No answer when he knocks. Inside, signs of recent life linger. A coffee cup half cold, lipstick smudged on the rim. A scarf draped over a chair. A suitcase half packed. And on the table, Carla's leather notebook. From there, the trail sharpens. A Polaroid, a shoreline. A name scribbled on the back. Playa del Reloj, Clock Beach. The code resolves into a destination. Kit isn't alone for long. Asher appears, exhausted but resolute, proof in her phone. Costello repeating the words, Carla's handwriting matching perfectly. Possibility hardens into plausibility. They follow the path through volcanic scrub to a narrow cove. A clock tower looms, broken and stubborn, overlooking the sand. Tourists mill about, blissfully unaware. Somewhere nearby, something has gone wrong. By evening, news filters in from Weatherfield. Becky spotted near the docks. Carl Webster calls, shattered by the sudden death of his mother. Grief ripples outward, another tragedy folding into the chaos. The search stretches into days. False sightings, half-truths, until a fisherman, Mateo, comes forward. He saw a woman like Carla. She was with a man. They argued quietly. She looked scared. On New Year's morning, fate offers a rare mercy. Carla is found alive, hidden in a ruined boathouse on a neighboring island. Bruised, shaken, but breathing. Her story spills out slowly. She was followed. A man boarded the same flight in Manchester. Innocent questions that turned dangerous. A trap that closed too quietly to hear. Kit listens, relief and fury battling for space, and somewhere behind it all, Becky's shadow lingers, theatrical, calculated, and far from finished.